we knew we were soldiers. We had our uniforms on. I mean, but we didn't want to be always thinking about the danger that we were in. So we would laugh, we would joke. We did have times where we were, doing our job. I was a supply specialist. I ordered parts for vehicles that were on the front line. So vehicles would come to they call it a motor pool. It would come to the motor pool and they'd be all torn up, from being on the front line. Glass broken, bullet holes, and we would have to, buy the parts to replace those things or whatever. So we're in the motor pool and we're just trying to do our job every day. You know what I mean? Order the parts, go and have something to eat, come back, to our little places where we lived, you know what I mean, and slept, trying to have some normalcy, even though we know where we are. But then when there's a bomb and our base is bombed, and, there was a point where there was a bomb right across from me because there was a tent where we could exercise and do whatever, and that tent was bombed, right? So it's like, that's when you realize, like, we are
this is real.
In a real war zone, right. You know what I mean? And we can get hurt, and we're doing this for our country, right? Because someone sent us here. You know what I mean? It's not like we said, yes, let's go over there on our own accord and, fight. It's our country. The people in power say, this other country is a problem. We need to go over here and, diffuse that issue. So we're sent to do that, and we hope that we're being sent to do the right thing. We're not just being sent just because someone has a personal vendetta against someone else, or because someone wants to, is motivated by greed, and that's why we're doing this. You know what I mean? And I feel like what just happened with people being activated to bomb Iran, I feel like there was other issues. It wasn't for the good of the country. You know what I mean? I feel like it may have been for other reasons with this person that we have in that seat of power right now. And I think that that's really unfortunate that lives are going to be lost and have already been lost because of this decision.
Well, he already said, so far we've lost 4.
Right.
And he says, he even said, we're going to lose more.
We're going to lose more.
We're going to lose more. And the goal here today is not to take sides for this political party or that political party. That's not the goal. I'm all about the human party.
That's right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
I'm all about the families. I'm about the loss of family members and lives. Because I'm not going to judge and say, is it or isn't it necessary? But I got to ask the question.
Right.
You know, to make that decision, because you're not making that decision for yourself, and your family's not going to be on the front line.
That's right.
But all the people that are in this country that you are serving are going to be on the front line for you.
For you. And for whatever, reason that you believed that this was necessary for. And as was said, it's not about Republican or Democrat or whatever. It's more about families and Americans and people losing their lives and not being able to come home to their families or being injured out there. People's lives are going to be in danger. And that's really, why war should be the last resort. You should try to negotiate. You should try to speak to another country as much as you can before you decide that you're going to take this step, because you care about the people that you are, in charge of.
And literally, you're supposed to be taking care of your people.
That's right.
You're supposed to be taking care of your people. And again, today is not about bashing. Because trust me, there's enough of that. But now, in addition to, I avoid the news, and I avoid it because it's a lot for me to listen to. It's difficult. It's hard. Right. And someone came to me the other day and said, "Did you just hear what happened?" And I was oblivious. I had no idea. Again, hadn't seen the news in over a week, maybe longer, to be frank with you, if that's possible. But it's true. And then I heard what happened. And then this morning I turned the TV on, and of course, more topic, more conversation. And then our president has a bit of a news. I mean, he comes on today and he's talking about what has happened.
Right.
And before that, The View was on and they were talking about what has happened. And as I'm gaining more detail and more information, my stomach turns. Like I have a sense of nausea because I'm like, no, how did we get here? How is this happening? Like we're literally we're in another war. It's happening.
And it makes
And
it puts the fear in your body. Like you feel it in your body, the fear of, oh my goodness, are we going to have a world war here? Like, is this going to be something where, it erupts to, something that's even bigger than, Israel, America, Iran? I mean, I feel afraid, and I think a lot of people feel afraid, and rightfully so, because what does this mean when two countries come together to oppose another? You know what I mean? Like, what does that make other countries start to think? You know what I mean? Are people going to start taking sides? What's going to happen? And I just feel like, like I said, a strategy. We have to think things all the way through. Like, what could the retaliatory, issues be? And I just don't think that was
Giving
that was
consideration.
I don't think that the gravity of this was really taken into consideration. Like, what could happen?
Well, I wonder. You and I, we were chatting earlier, and let me do an official start here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Williamson. This is Bear Fitness. You are coming in on a conversation that I'm having with Nicole McClain. She's Councilor-at-Large in Lynn, Mass. And granted, we hadn't intended on starting the conversation this way. We wanted to get more information about Lynn, but just based on the news that we both heard on the way in and what's been going on in the last several days, we couldn't help but talk about it and our concerns. And so we're going to continue on from here. I'm Laura Williamson. I am your host. This is Bear Speak. I'm a personal trainer, Pilates instructor, health coach, Reiki practitioner. I am all the things, personal cheerleader, but I'm also concerned about you. My goal is to help empower you to be your best self, and by bringing you topics and information and resources to help you live your best life on your own terms. So today we have Nicole with us. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Laura, and I'm excited to see where our conversation goes.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I avoid politics. I don't talk about politics, because isn't that one of the things they say? It's in polite company. You're supposed to not talk about politics and things of that nature. But I think in this case, it's something that has come up. I think it's a weight. It was on my mind. It was on my heart to be clear about that, because I don't watch the news. I don't care to watch the news because of this type of information, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that this would be what I'm actually avoiding. A car crash, I don't know, bad weather, I don't know, but not a bomb was dropped on some children in a building, and that's not what I thought I was trying to avoid,
right,
to be frank with you. So now here we are, and we're talking about this. And if I may share, Nicole is actually a veteran.
That's correct. I'm a veteran of Iraqi freedom, and also the second war that we also fought in Iraq. I was in Iraq in 2004 and again in 2008. So this news of a bomb being dropped in Iran is really close to my heart, and the retaliatory bombings from Iran on bases that are in Qatar, that are in the Middle East area, as a retaliation of the bomb being dropped by America is of big concern to me, because American soldiers and these young girls that lost their lives due to this bombing is just really catastrophic, honestly, and the worst news that we could have been receiving right now.
And before I continue, let me say thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Let's go there. Because this is beyond bravery. it's real easy for me to sit here and say I'm upset and oh no, and this is awful, and it is awful.
It is.
But as someone who has never served and comes from a family of veterans, and of course you wouldn't know this about me because it's just not something that comes up. But I think I think a lot of us know people who serve or who have served or are veterans in some way, shape, or form, and I just feel like it's part of our tapestry. I think it just is what it is. But what I would like to ask from you today, Nicole. We plan on talking about other things, and we will get to those things. But I would love your perspective as a veteran, a soldier who was. I mean, you lived it. Right. In the line of fire, and it's real easy for me to feel badly about it, but that's nothing compared to you actually experiencing it. Like you said, hearing mortars and waking up day to day, and not knowing if the person next to you, or a friend of yours, is if you're going to come back from battle or not. I have no idea what that feels like. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like, and I don't think a lot of people do either. Right. So for me, again, this is not about taking political sides. I'm looking at the human side of it only and purely because I'm thinking about the families. I'm thinking about the children. Those are the people that I am thinking about right now, and the effects it has on your immediate family, the people who care about you, and your communities.
Yeah, you have to think about it, though. When we're out there, we're not thinking about who's a Republican and who's a Democrat and who's, white, who's black. We're not thinking about any of that. We're thinking about making sure we all come home safely. Yeah. That when we go overseas and we're fighting for our country, we're not concerned with, politics. We're concerned with making sure the person to the left and right of us is safe and that we're safe, So that's our daily battle every day, is to make sure that we're mentally, emotionally, and physically, sound all the time. And it's not always easy when you're away from home. You're very sad. You're always thinking about home, especially myself. I was a mom. I had to leave my son with my mother so that I could, serve the country. So, I mean, there's a lot of different, elements that go into serving our country. It's not like just, one type of person is doing this work. Moms, dads, right. Cousins, daughters, everyone is there, and it's more of a humanity thing than it is anything else, and I think that people need to understand that soldiers are bipartisan, Right. We're here for everyone, and we're trying to make sure our country is safe, and that's why we do what we do. That's the base of why we do what we do, definitely.
And there are more women now in the service than there were before, because we were talking about this, that my aunt was a Marine.
That's right.
Way back when. But, then women weren't allowed
right, to be on the front line.
No, they weren't allowed. And there's this beautiful picture of her in a skirt. I mean, there's a row of them sitting at desks, and they're at typewriters, and they're typing. And but she was nonetheless, she was a veteran. And when she passed away, you have the option. It's in Maryland. She was buried. Wow. She had the rifle salute. She had the whole thing when she passed away. But I got to tell you, as nothing as a family member, someone who was at that funeral, when the rifles go off, my uncle was another one too. He was a Marine.
Right.
And he guarded the president. Wow. And then he retired, and then that was it. And he also had the gun salute, but I got to tell you, it's something about it. It was poetic on the one hand, but it's very definite. It's like it's done.
Right. You feel the honor.
You feel the honor,
yes,
but then it
definitely.
hits you like
right.
Whoa, like this is a lot.
Yes.
I did a lot. It's important, but it's like it's. I can't explain it.
Right. It's heavy on two sides, right? It's like, it's really like, I'm so proud of my loved one for being able to do this and to have served the country. And then I'm hugely saddened because now they're no longer with me. You know what I mean? It's like, and we were talking about that, right? With the people that come and give that news to the family when their child was,
it's always
I'm saying their child, but with their loved one has passed. You know what I mean? It could be, anyone, so... Yeah, and when they get that news and then having the gravity of not having seen them not having seen them being overseas for however long, or in battle for however long. They don't have to be overseas to have been a veteran, but to be away from their family. And then the next time you're going to see them is when they're being buried,
or
in a casket.
Yeah, with the flag draped over
You
it.
know, and that's why, when we're making these decisions, we need to be thinking of that. We need to be thinking of those families who first are going to be sending their loved one off. Yeah, we had a parade before I left. Everybody was out there holding signs for us, telling us good luck, telling us how proud they were of us. But think about the people who went over and they were gone for years or years and some change, and their families never got to talk to them or really got to see them often. Now we have, Zoom and we have all those things, but there's nothing like being in person with your family. So then the next time they are going to see their loved one is when someone comes to inform them that they have passed in battle or they have passed somewhere. You know what I mean? And
yeah, trust me, nobody wants that visit.
Nobody wants that visit.
That visit is not. Again.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's all rah.
Yeah.
Until you're living it.
Until it really touches you.
No, No, it's different. It's such a mixture of emotion. I mean, mourning is one thing, but again, I have to admit, it is next level.
Right, and it makes me think of, what I mean? Like we said, we're not bashing anyone here. We're not trying to make anyone look like, they're doing the most awful, thing. But, I mean, there's been negative talk about veterans and soldiers, you know what I mean, by this administration. And then now we're being used to fight this battle, you know what I mean, for this administration. So is it like we're not worth anything as soldiers, or is that you are going to depend on us and respect us and honor us as soldiers?
Yeah. Is
you know what I mean? Like, what is it? You can't, downplay a group of people who are defending the country and then activate them, you know what I mean, at your whim. It should be always a level of respect for our military.
Right. I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's just, and the idea. And so one of the reasons why you were invited here, one of the reasons, of course, I know you and I think you're fantastic, but you came to mind. I mean, you laugh, it's true. Everyone, I tell you, when I am blessed to know some amazing people, you have no idea. And I wanted people to know what it is. Someone like yourself, someone such as yourself, you give so much to your community. You do so much for the people you care about and for the people you don't even know. And I got to bring this up. I have to talk about this. It's a lot, because you're pouring out, you're giving. You're literally giving a lot. And when you're giving so much, and a lot of us do a lot, just in different ways, but what I'm finding is on a personal level, based on the type of work that I do and I've done, again, I haven't always gone through my whole history. One day you guys will fully know me, because I've also been a social worker for the Commonwealth. I've had a couple of lives, to be honest with you. And it's just, as women, we do a lot.
Yes, we do.
We do a lot. We give a lot.
Yes,
and we're always giving, but we carry a lot, we give a lot, but we don't always give a lot back to ourselves.
And that is true.
And that being said, nothing can be more evident than you're a veteran. You've been through all you've been through. You've seen some stuff. I know you have. We haven't even touched on it here. I mean, we touched on some stuff, but we haven't touched on some stuff, and I don't know how much you can or can't. I mean, it's interesting, again, as someone who has family, and they can't even talk about what they saw. Like, I can't talk about Laura. Like, okay, right? There's that. Guys, you have no idea. You have no idea what our veterans are going through. You have no idea what they're doing. And I talk like I've been there. I haven't been there. But
you've been adjacent. Yes, you've seen a lot. And my family is a military family, and I blame it on myself, right? I'm the first one. I went to the Army. My sister's in the Air Force now, and my niece is a Marine, right? So now we're, our immediate family. My grandfather was in the Navy. I have a cousin that's that was also in the Army. So we have a lot of family members that have been in the military, and people don't always think that, right? That there's so many people of color. It's a very diverse military.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, it is.
It's hugely diverse. I mean, there hasn't been a war that, Black Americans haven't fought in. So we've always been soldiers. You know what I mean? So I think that is worth noting. And when being a soldier in Massachusetts and then going out and seeing that for myself, that was an experience for me, being overseas and seeing how multicultural our military is.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing. And so now we can really jump in on more about you. So you are Councilor-at-Large in Lynn.
That's right.
And how long has that been for you now?
This is my second term, so almost 3 years, my first term, and I was the first Black American woman to be a counselor, elected as Councilor-at-Large in the city of Lynn. Yeah.
Got to give you your flowers.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
And there's
impressive.
4 of us. There's 4 Councilors-at-Large in the city of Lynn, and we have 11 of us all in entirety. So there's 7 ward councilors and then 4 Councilors-at-Large. Yeah.
I mean, you were doing the thing.
Yeah, I'm working hard.
But you're working hard, and see, that's going to bring us back to, and we'll come to this, but tell us what you have some awesome initiatives that you are working on currently and been working on. Can you share some of that with us, please?
Absolutely. So in the political realm, I've been working to give voice to our youth and young adults. This is something that's really close to my heart. Working with a group of people that we've named the Youth and Adolescents Task Force. So it's built up of students that are, youth that are 16 years old, all the way up to adults who are over 21 to be mentors for these youth. So our goal with the Youth and Adolescents Task Force is to better serve our young people so they can transition into adulthood more successfully. And the ultimate goal would be to have an actual dedicated city department for our youth and young adult services. So we don't have anything like that in Lynn right now. I noticed that in Boston, they have something called the Empowerment Division or something like that. That's really, if you have something that you want to learn as a parent or as a guardian about what's going on and how to help your young person succeed, you can go to that department and get that information. So in Lynn, we don't have something like that, and Somerville has something like that as well. So I'm hoping that ultimately this youth and adolescents task force will translate into something more permanent in our city, where parents and guardians and young people can walk into this area and learn more about what's available. Internships, mentors, free trainings, things like that they can, help them, bolster them into adulthood. So that's one of the initiatives that I'm really passionate about. I recently wrote my first ordinance, which is like a law or legislation, and that law was to better support or to bolster resources for our, women and gender affirming community in the city of Lynn, so that, things about, because abortion is a hot issue at this moment because, Roe versus Wade was overturned. Gender affirming care is on the chopping block as well. People don't want to, give our LGBTQ community the services that they need. So I just wrote that ordinance, which is like some kind of legislation, so that we are keeping that on our radar and we are holding up the laws of Massachusetts when it comes to that kind of care, gender affirming and abortions and things like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what else? Just to give people an understanding, what exactly does a Councilor-at-Large do? What are some of your responsibilities also?
So we are able to approve or deny the budget that the mayor writes the budget annually, and we are able to review it. And we can't take anything off of the budget, but we can. We can't add anything to the budget, but we can make some recommendations. So that's what one of the things that is a big deal that the counselors are able to do. We're able to write legislation, so that's something that I was able to do for the first time with that gender affirming care ordinance. We're able to connect our community members with the resources that they need at city departments. So if someone is, they have a pothole, they want that covered up, they can call their counselor, their ward counselors, or they can call their counselors at large to handle those issues. I've also had people contact me a lot for the Lynn public school system. That's not really in my purview, so I'm able to refer them to a school committee member so that they can get that kind of help. So a big part of the job is answering the phone for our constituents and getting them to whomever they need as far as city services are available.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we go back, now we can kind of go back to this a little bit. How did being a veteran influence basically what you're doing right now?
I think there's a huge parallel, which I didn't initially see, with being a veteran and then a public servant. I don't like to call myself a politician because I did not graduate with a degree in political science or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm more of a public servant than I am a politician because I see how politicians move and I'm like, that's not really me. You know what I mean? So I'll call myself a public servant. And as a veteran, I feel like that's what I was as well. So that sort of parallels things. Like it makes me see like I'm always of service. You know what I mean? So that's how it's the same thing. In my opinion, that's how that parallels. Like it's me putting myself out there for people who, probably will never know that I did it for them. And
but you made it better.
But yeah, and improving things. You know what I mean? Whether it be silent or in the public eye. Yeah.
Okay, so when you and I talked initially, I asked the question: you don't consider yourself a politician?
No.
But do you consider yourself an activist?
And I also said no to that. I don't think I'm an activist because I see activists as being like Tamika morally, like she's out there and she's like loud.
She really
and
is.
Right, and she's doing like she is like
she's here. She's
right. She's not.
She's
and
on.
Me, I'm more like, I see there's a problem and I'm going to handle it this way, not in a loud, put everything on blast way, but on a more
stealth mode.
Yeah, more quiet,
silent.
Yeah,
but
powerful. Yeah, exactly.
I understand. I understand what you.
I don't have to be loud.
No, you don't have to. You know something's coming. You just don't know when. Right. That's what stealth mode is. It's very quiet. It just sneaks up on you, and you're just like, I'm here. And you're just like, no.
How did that happen?
Jeez. Like, oh, man. And then your whole situation is blown up, and you're just like, I don't, what just happened? What just happened?
I'm not really sure how this all came about.
Yeah. But, for the health and wellness, the wellness part of things. Yeah. And as we were talking about earlier, like, this is a lot, though. You're carrying and you've carried a lot. I don't see how you're going to be a veteran for the country. Right. You're going to be a mom. You're going to be all the things to all the people all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you fill your cup? Because the cup runneth over and then the cup is empty or half full. How do you fill your cup? How do you control
I try to go silent a lot. You know what I mean? I try to yesterday we visited my grandchildren and it was wonderful, right? Everybody.
Grandchildren.
Yeah, I have 2 grandkids.
How old are you? I'm angry with you right now because you like 12. Like, how old are you?
And it was like wonderful to be with them. You know what I mean? 1 and 2 years old. You know what I mean? So they were really sweet. Mm-hmm. And then when we got home, I went straight to the room, and my husband was like, "What are you doing? You don't want to come and watch TV?"
You need some downtime.
Right, exactly.
You need a minute.
So, I try to just, separate myself and just, that's how I fill my cup, right? By just having some some just alone time where I'm not expected to do anything for anyone. And people think that I'm crazy when I'm like sitting at the bar by myself, or I'll take myself out to eat, or just I'll just do things alone, and that bothers people. Which I'm like, but that's how I fill my cup, by being by myself. That's more
about them than it is about you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so, that's how I fill my cup.
And I get that. It's, I get that. So then what does it, because we talked about things to do for yourself, because when we met, the way we met was, we worked out together a little bit, we trained together,
right.
and you were in beast mode. You really were, because you were posting your workouts. You were doing
I was trying hard.
You were doing yeah, you were.
I need to get back to that Nicole. Nicole's gone, but
you were doing some
I'm
stuff.
trying to bring it back.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you were doing things.
Yes, I was
You
working
were
hard.
not messing around. You were getting it done.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, okay, Miss Nicole. Let's see what you're doing there. Okay.
Trying to be strong.
You were. You really were. And I just, what does a normal day look like for you? When Nicole gets up in the morning, like, what does that look like? All
right, so I get up in the morning, I stay in the bed for a little bit, but then there's emails, right?
I do that.
Then you get up, you check your emails, try to answer those, have some coffee, you know what I mean? And then you get ready to go out into the world, right? So being at City Hall during the days, also sometimes I can do that and talk to people. And I was working for Elite for Education as my full-time job, so that's what I was doing. I do that for probably 8 hours a day. And then there's meetings after 6. You know what I mean? So then you do all the meetings with all the organizations that want to be, that want your support, So that's basically what my day looks like, just trying to serve the community. You know what I mean? Even hearing it when I hear myself say it out loud is like, I spend my day working for people and trying to get them what they need. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes sense that my alone time is so important, because I do spend a lot of my time just trying to help others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, again, you're always giving back. It's just, it's a lot. Is there such a thing as balance for you, though?
I always say that if I'm succeeding at one thing, I'm failing at something else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
I think that's what.
Fair.
If you see me and I'm rocking at an event, and I'm the organizer of the event, and I got this whole thing going on, I'm at the microphone and I'm introducing everybody and I'm doing all those things. People see, oh, this is a successful person and she's doing a lot of great things. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, my house is a mess. I need to clean my bathroom.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's life.
You know what I mean?
That's real. Because if all your attention or most of your attention is there, something
think
else
about
is
it.
not
Yeah,
getting
something
your
else
attention.
is not
So
getting done.
That's a fair.
Right.
That's definitely fair.
Something else is not getting done.
That's fair.
Right.
I mean.
So I don't think there's balance. I think there's more priorities, right? You prioritize things. You know what you got to do daily. So whatever is at that top of that list for that day is what you're going to rock. You're going to rock that. And then maybe there's another day that you're going to rock the cleaning. That's going to be the top of the thing on your list. So it's like what you prioritize daily is how you get that, the best out of life. I don't think there's ever balance. I think there's more prioritization. Yeah.
That's a recurring theme. I asked that question to another guest of mine, and she said the same thing. She's like, there's no such thing as balance. She's like, there's no way you can do it all at one time.
Right.
She's like, you can do it, just not at one time. It just doesn't happen, because sometimes you have to be more over here than you are over here, and then you have to make your way back over here.
Right.
She's like, I don't think it happens that way.
Right.
But what's something or one thing that you wish people knew about you, or should know about you?
Wish that people knew.
Yeah, because you're a veteran. Because we're not talking. We didn't want to get into politics today. We weren't trying to do that. We were just trying to talk about service. We were talk about service, humanity. That was the goal of today, and balance. What it's like to be you, human Nicole,
right?
Woman the woman, Nicole, the powerhouse that you are, and how are you able to keep it and pull it together?
I think I want people to know more than anything is that I really do care genuinely, right?
Right.
I don't want people to think that I'm just doing this because I want to be a counselor at large. I didn't even want to be a counselor at large, right? It's not something I even wanted. It wasn't something that was on my radar. I was being the founder and president of North Shore Juneteenth Association, and this was during the pandemic, and a young woman came to me and she said, I want to do something because George Floyd's death. Can we do something, right? So we put together this thing called Prevent the Cycle, where we had this demonstration in various parts of Lynn. People were like protesting. They would have their signs and they'd protest, and then we'd all come as a group in front of City Hall to make our demands, which were, we want a Human Rights Commission, we want the Lynn Police Department to wear body-worn cameras, and we want oversight for the police in some form. Well, we wanted an unarmed crisis response team. That's really what we wanted, right? So once we did that, because we did that, we had to meet with the counselors of the city at that time. And the counselors they seemed so far removed from what was going on in the city of Lynn. And I was like, we need someone at this table that thinks the way we think. Look at all these people in front of City Hall that feel the same way, that believe that we need these initiatives to go forward. And then we go inside of City Hall and no one seems to think that that's necessary. So that separation is what even made me feel like, okay, well, someone needs to run. And I started asking other people if they were going to do it, and when they were saying no or they weren't sure, that's when I was like, okay, fine, I will.
Nice.
I'll run for office.
Not me?
Right. So I did it. You know what I mean? That was, 2021, I believe. And we didn't win. You know what I mean? We didn't win. And it was me and Adriana Paz was my campaign manager at the time. Yeah,
because
do you?
I remember I did the Red Rock. We were doing Pilates in the park.
Oh,
Red Rock.
That's right.
And I did the post, and I was like,
she had you.
That's
Yes.
Nicole's picture up on the.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that right? I was like, that's right. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I posted that. I was like, my friend. I was like, look, she's running. I was like, look at this. And I couldn't make the party. I know you guys had
unfortunately, we had the campaign
because
launch.
I had classes. No, because it was just the time. The timing was not good for me.
you.
But I remember
unfortunate. I didn't know that you knew.
I did. No,
Yeah.
because I was teaching a class in the park.
That's
And
right.
your sign with your picture on it, as big as day, was behind me. And I was like, that's Nicole. I was like, oh. I was like, I didn't know. I had no idea. I was like, yes, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
So
yep,
that means
I knew. I saw
my
it.
motivation was because I truly wanted someone that would be there to represent this group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these people that want things to, go forward in our city that are going to help everyone. You know what I mean? So that's what I want people to know more than anything is that it's out of a genuine care for people that I do this.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because it's hard because we don't always get this side of our leaders. We don't always get tell us about yourself. What makes it, we don't always get that. You kind of get it, but the way we receive it, it's in a very matter-of-fact kind of way. Right? Instead of the person, the human behind it, but I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, you don't always get the heart behind it. You just get the information.
Right.
Right. So it's nice to connect with you on a human level because this war affects humans, people in general. I say war because it is a war.
You say war because they've
It's
been using that word too. And I know Congress hasn't declared it.
Yeah, but it is.
But
because now we've started, it's like you're in a schoolyard.
Oh, it's so sad.
And one of you, it's like you're shoving each other around until eventually somebody throws a punch. Right? You just, okay, here we go. And I don't even know if there was actual shoving at this point, to be honest with you. To be frank with you, I think maybe someone it could have been a sucker punch. I don't know. I'm speaking out of turn because like I said, I haven't been watching the news. I don't know enough. I just know as a person, who has loved ones, who have served, who, I don't want that for anybody.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's going to happen, but it's just a lot. And then it's a lot when you return as someone who has served as a soldier, and to reinsert and back into everything after you having gone through all the stuff that you've been through. That's another aspect. We didn't touch on that. But that's also, trying to reintegrate
Right.
afterwards,
Afterwards,
seeing what you've
which was
seen,
rough.
doing what you've done, experiencing
Right.
what you've experienced. Talk
You're
about
never
life
the
changing.
same. Yeah, you're never the same. Like when I came home, when I left, I was a hairstylist, right? I used to do hair when I left. When I came home, just couldn't.
It wasn't the same.
Just
was it?
yeah,
It just
I just
seem
didn't have
like
it.
It didn't seem after
Right.
everything you've been through. It just is like, I'm doing hair.
Right, I'm a
I know that
hairstylist.
people I know, they didn't come home. They didn't go home.
And some people that came home, then they
weren't the
passed.
same.
They committed suicide. I'm sorry to say.
No, you.
Once they
but
get
it's the-
home,
it's
you know what I mean?
it's
Because
the truth. It's real.
I mean,
It's
all
human.
of us made it home, but all of us didn't stay once we got here. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody was so happy that we didn't lose anyone. But think about what's on everybody's mind. There's a lot of, you've seen a lot. You've been exposed to so much. You don't know how people are emotionally. And like I said, when we were there, it was easy to check on each other. When we get back home, we
Who's
all
gonna check
live
on you?
all over the place.
Yeah, because no one understands what you've been through. No one's
Right.
experienced what you've
So
experienced.
how are we going to check in on
How are
everybody?
you going to talk about it? Who are you going to... Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing that people don't think about. But that is a reality of being a soldier. Like, your mental health is at risk, and you have to do everything that you can to maintain it. And then sometimes you don't know how to.
Yeah, it's just a lot. War isn't good for anyone. It affects
No.
everyone. Everyone. I
That's
don't care
why
who
it
you are.
cannot be just thrown around. It should not be taken lightly.
No.
We have to be
Before
more
you do that,
strategic. Yeah,
you
we
know,
have to.
You can be rah, like, okay, we're going to go to war. Like, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
If we do that.
What is the gravity? How is it going
Yeah.
to affect everyone? And not just our country, everyone all over the place.
Everything all at once.
Yeah. We
Everything.
have to think about
Nothing's
it.
going to be left. War affects
And
everyone.
people say, oh, heroes are going to lose their lives, and that's the consequences of
say it
war.
so easily.
But it's not just heroes are going to lose their lives. It's a lot that's going to happen.
There's
on
a lot
top
of loss
of.
in addition
Thank
to.
you.
In addition to. It's not just losing
Right.
of life.
If the life doesn't matter to you, what does? You know what I mean? Let's think about it. If the lives are just something that you mention while you're talking about your ballroom,
Well, yeah.
what else what's the real thing that's going to make you see that this wasn't the best step forward? You know what I mean? For America as a country, But I digress because we're not doing any side taking. We are just making sure
No, we are not.
that people understand soldiers and families and
that's
families of loved ones on either side.
That's right. On either side.
Are going
Again,
to be
this is would you say bipartisan?
negative. That's right.
Right. That's
Are going to be
not-
negatively affected here.
Yeah, everyone. No one's.
Everyone.
It's
All
gonna
over
touch.
the world.
It's gonna touch everybody.
Yes,
Whether you think it is or isn't, just know it will.
it will.
It absolutely will. And I just, some of us more than others,
Yeah.
in a more profound way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's again,
It's
family,
not good for
people,
anyone.
You just don't. I can't. It's just so much. And so, what I will say to you is, if people need to reach out to you, if they need something, what's the best way to connect? Do they connect with you, and what do they
Yeah.
connect with you for, or what's the protocol if someone's listening to this now and they're like, "Ooh, I want to talk to her more. I want to know more about her, or I have this issue that I need to remedy, and I'm not sure what direction I should go in."
Yeah, you could definitely reach out to me. I'm all over social media. So you can find me on social media at Councilwoman McClain on Instagram, and I am Nicole McClain, Councilor-at-Large on Facebook. So those are the only platforms I really use at the moment. I have a YouTube channel as well. You can check that out. You can also email me, Nicole for Lynn at Gmail as well. And also, I would love you to check out my nonprofit organization, the North Shore Juneteenth Association. We're on Instagram and Facebook as well. And we also have a website, nsjuneteenth.com. So please take a look at the initiatives that we're pushing forward through that nonprofit organization too.
Okay, and I have one final question for you. I mean, what does the future hold for you? Are we thinking about Mayor or Governor McClain? Like, what are we looking for? Because obviously I'm looking to get another interview in. So, because you really, I'm thinking about myself right now.
We talked about a lot of things. We didn't get to talk about everything on your list.
So I just,
but we did talk about a lot of things.
I just wonder, like, what's the future? What's the future looking like? What do we think? Where are we leaning right now?
I mean, I always play with the idea of being the first black woman mayor of Lynn. I play with that a lot, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to come true. But I really do play with the idea. Okay. I play with the idea, and I've been playing with it often lately. But I'm not gonna. Listen. I'm not going to say that that's true. Right. I'm not. I may not go for that. I may not go for that, but it has been a thought in my mind. But I'm definitely looking to work in the education field more. I want to work more with our young people and help them to, help to give them some of the things that I didn't really have as a young person, someone that wants to see them, move to the next level. So that's definitely in my future.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. And she's coming back when it happens. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be okay.
We're on the fence. We're on the fence. We don't know.
It's been emotional. I have to admit, it's been an emotional day. I've had highs. I've had lows. I'm having a high again. And let me tell you, I want to be here for this. I do. This is Laura. I am Laura. This is Bear Speak. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you next time. Nicole, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having
your
me.
time and your day with us.
This was decompressing for everybody. This was
I know,
nice.
because we got to let some of our stuff go.
This was nice.
And this has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Everyone, you'll hear from us again. Visit again. We got some very awesome guests and awesome topics going on around here. And, if you need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm going to add in my information, too. I'm at info@barefitnesspilates.com. And you can find me on YouTube, Laura's Bear Fitness. You can find me on Instagram, Laura's Bear Fitness, and Facebook, Laura's Bear Fitness. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.